Welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast. My name is BlueWestlo, and I'm here with the one and only Robbie V.
Didn't get laid off by Bungie today.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah,
Bungie.
baby. Yeah, well, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the Bungie layoffs. We're going to talk about the future of Destiny, how things are looking pretty bleak over there on that front. That's going to be the majority of the podcast, and, hey, we're going to go over all of it. After the Bungie stuff, we talk about some Spider-Man 2. We talk about some Fortnite. Get into some Q&A. Talk about a couple other things we have coming up. And hey, we keep it $1.50 on this podcast. You know what I mean? So let's just roll into it. And thank you guys so much for watching. And we hope you enjoy this podcast. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast, episode 204.
204.
I think we should probably just jump right into it.
What a week.
As somebody, what a week it was. I will say this: we're obviously going to be talking about Destiny and kind of the Destiny news that's come out in the past couple days. Mm-hmm. And for those that don't know, and that had been living under a rock, apparently. I gotta pull up my article here. Switched it over here. Bungie had massive layoffs, and the final shape is now also delayed. I don't think Bungie has come out and officially said that yet, but it's looking like it's true. So Bungie laid off a old guard, new guard. It really looked like it didn't matter who you were.
They just went indiscriminate.
Yeah, unless you were like one of like the higher up suits or like executives, it really didn't look like it was like targeted at a specific team or anything like that. But it was a pretty bloody Monday. And
what I will say before we talk about targeting, I will say for some of the people, it seems like they got their work for the expansion done and then fired them because they were like, oh, well, the work's done. So I'll touch on that after that. But there were some very shitty things that Bungie pretty much blatantly did. But it's, man.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Layoffs are never fun in any kind of space. It just kind of hits differently though here when I haven't been in the Destiny community for a really, really long time, obviously. I still we still are technically, like if we ever went back, I think, it'd be,
for sure.
Would be excited and people would be stoked and stuff. But it seems like a lot of people are starting to finally feel how we kind of feel about the game and just kind of the whole franchise as a whole. I think you're starting to see a lot of creators now talk about moving into variety, because let's move back to the final shape being delayed. So final shape was supposed to come out in February, and apparently it got pushed to June now. To fit into Sony's financial, fiscal, something, blah, 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 blah. That's at least like what people are thinking.
Which Bungie has also not commented on yet.
Yeah, like Bungie hasn't commented on the final shape being delayed. I believe it was some article that came out and was basically like, Bungie had massive layoffs due to the amount of pre-orders for final shape not really being there, and some other things. And so with that, they had to push back the final shape till June, which like none of the player base had heard or like even thought was going to happen. Because like now that I think about it, from February to June, what are they filling that void with? You know what I mean?
We're going to have a 7th month season. So
you think so?
100%. For a little extra context, for those of you who have been living under a rock, basically on Tuesday, just out of the blue, Bungie had called a bunch of meetings for a lot of people. Whether you were there or not, whether you were like off of work or
I think it was
day
Monday.
Off. Monday, actually, yeah. And they laid off approximately 8% of their staff, or 100 people, which is not a small amount.
It's a lot of people.
And a lot of the info we got regarding these layoffs was from internal people who work there, essentially giving it to journalists, which I think it was Jason Schreier. Pete Parsons pretty much said, "Hey, like, this is tough. We missed our financial goals, essentially our projected revenue, quote unquote, whatever, the usual corporates, like, hey, we need to meet these goals by 45%, which is massive in the man, financially, for a company to miss it by 45% is huge.
Yeah.
And he pretty much said, like, hey, we're going to have to bunker down, crunch, to make Final Shape as good as it can be. And there weren't any indications that people were going to get laid off when he sent this email. So then when the layoffs happened, it was just a huge, just a massive blindside for a lot of people. And it's, man,
Yeah,
it's just really
like,
tough.
It includes, like, the dude that literally scored Destiny, Halo 3, like the Halo series. Like, there was literally nobody safe. And like Blue said, you know, people were let go and kind of telling journalists things. I have some quotes here from Paul Tassi. It says, many Bungie employees that were fired found out the morning that they were locked out of their services, logins, emails, and access revoked. Others who instead found out in meetings were told to not tell team members themselves, as teams would try to be told by other means. Many employees were unable to say goodbye or exchange contacts. Many team members were not told at all who about who on their team was being laid off, and only found out as it happened. The layoff decisions came directly from Bungie, not Sony. And that's kind of like another thing, is when Sony was acquired by Bungie, a lot of people at Bungie were worried about, layoffs and turnaround and stuff like that because of Sony, and, Sony trying to make their margins and all that kind of stuff. And I can't find the quote, but I know Bungie said that there would be no turnover or anything like that due to this Sony acquisition, or the acquisition from Sony.
Mm-hmm.
This is not about Sony replacing Bungie employees with their own people. Many employee benefits, though not health insurance, only last until the end of the month if you're let go. Laying people off on the 30th means a single additional day of coverage. Many employees had unvested shares as a result of the Sony purchase. These shares would be received based on staying with the company for a certain number of years following the sale. But those shares revert to Bungie if you leave, even if you're fired, which is what's happening now to many of those affected. The part that I think that's the one that I believe the most is the fact that they're laying off employees, so their shares turn into like Bungie shares. I mean, this is all just like suits trying to make, like, it's not like Destiny's not profitable. Okay. Like, at the end of the day, this game is extremely profitable and makes money. It's just not, ooh, we made 42% and we only made 35% or something like that. I guess they did have a 45% drop in revenue, I guess it is, basically, from what I heard.
I think what's happening is they're not profitable in the eyes of Sony, of like where they need to be, which a lot of it has to do with the fact that, I mean, companies keep chasing these COVID numbers, and it's like, bro, you're not going to get these COVID numbers for a once in a generation pandemic that kept everyone inside and gave them perfect conditions to play video games. You're not going to get these COVID numbers. You can't keep chasing them. And so, I mean, and then obviously, Lightfall did really bad. I think the 35%, I think it was a 35% drop in player attention from Witch Queen to the seasons.
Yeah.
Which is normal, right? Or that was 34% for Witch Queen. And then with Lightfall, it was the same deal. It was 35%. But the big blow, it came when the season dropped, where when the season dropped, it was an approximate 20% loss of players going into the season, versus in Witch Queen, it was a 10% gain from that loss that they had incurred from Witch Queen, right? So they lost 10% of the players going into a new season versus what would have been a 10% gain. So 20%, like that's the and like that's just player attention falling off a cliff, which should have been their oh fuck moment, but it was Bungie just kind of doing the hand waving like which is a bigger problem with the higher ups being like like I'm sure it's fine, like it's whatever, like don't worry about it. Because when you hear the stories of so many of these devs who've come out on Twitter who have pretty much said like, yeah, management is really bad and we want to make the game as good as we can. We keep telling the higher ups, hey, we have to make these changes, but the higher ups saying like, nah, like it's going okay. Like let's sell a couple more stuff on a couple more things on Eververse and it'll be fine. So it's so tough because so many of the devs really passionately care and know what's wrong with the game. But like you said, the higher ups, the people who make these big decisions about the actual direction of the game and really decide how, and especially over the past couple of years, how much more important monetization is than the game's quality itself. How much of an impact it has on it. But nothing's going to happen to the higher ups, and P. Parton's going to keep his nice big bonus this year. So
yeah, I think you like nail on the head with basically just saying, you know, they're chasing COVID numbers and like no, and I think a lot of people in this space do that because like, you know, everybody thinks, oh, the COVID numbers, like we can get there, and in reality, like no one's ever just going to be in their house again. So it's just malpractice and unsustainable greed. You know, it's just something that just is just going to poison the gaming space, and is just going to, you're going to see more layoffs happening. I mean, you saw it this year with Epic, like laying off a ton of people. And now we're seeing it here at Bungie. And I don't think I've ever seen the community be as down and doom and gloom on Destiny ever. Not like ever.
Oh, this is a huge low.
Yeah, like I think this is the lowest the Destiny community has ever been on Destiny ever. Like, which is insane. Like, I mean, I know I've seen people, over like 10 people on my timeline through retweets and stuff like that, of people like refunding their Final Shape pre-orders, which is like it's just like crazy to kind of see the reaction that is happening from this, you know. It's really unfortunate that, you know, because we have to think about Destiny for the long term for a second, right? Like, what happens with Destiny after Final Shape? You know, like this is even more the nail in the coffin.
I don't even think like, Bungie knows is what right? becomes super obvious from the overall strategy of where they're going. Because, you know, the strategy in Lightfall was, everyone was like, dude, like what the hell? Like this is like no momentum, just completely shifted our expectations for where the game was going to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of people make the meme like, oh, Destiny's make or break. Like this expansion's make or break. But it's like they always are, because the game is always ebbing and flowing. And if the game doesn't find that flow, then you have what happened right now, where player attention just dives off a cliff in a way that you never expected. Bungie can't meet its quota. 45%. That is make or break, you know, margins for them, unfortunately, especially after the acquisition. And so it's just tough, because when the devs who made the game really, really, really care, and they're the ones who get laid off and they're the ones making the game, it's just really heartbreaking and tough. And from the community perspective, it's like all these layoffs, it's like, okay, well, who's making this game then? Like you have 650 employees, and a lot of them are on Marathon. And for the past like year and a half or so, it's really just kind of felt like the game's been on autopilot mode. Like nobody
Yeah.
really, like I don't think any of us really know where the vision of the game is going. They've revealed the episodes, which is pretty lukewarm. It's like, oh, okay, so it's repackaged seasons is what the sentiment was. And I mean, the final shape hype hasn't really been there. And
No.
not that it's been negative. I don't think it's been negative, but it just hasn't been hype, right?
There.
So with all these Bungie layoffs, with the pretty lukewarm feelings on how everyone's been on the game itself, it's just this perfect storm of the community really feeling like, hey, like I don't one a lot of the reason why people stuck around with the game is because it was really easy to support a company that was so openly trying to be morally good.
Yeah.
But to then have it turn around and a lot of these employees just get fired, the share situation where they fired them in very, very tight timing to make sure they didn't get their shares. A lot of these people, I know with DMG tweeted about how his friend Victor was a stroke victim. He had a stroke at work. I mean, this dude literally fell over working, had a stroke, and then a year later gets let go by Bungie just because, I mean, obviously with Bungie, it's like, oh, it's easy. Like, work output's not going to be quite as high. It's just evil. So now you have a company that nobody has like a moral tie to. A lot of people, in a lot of people's eyes, I've always seen Bungie like this, is no different than Epic Games, is no different than Sony, is no different than Microsoft, is no, it's not a company that
Blizzard, like they're just
it's not a company that like you have a moral tie to. You don't feel good about buying games for them because it's like, oh well, good people work there, and that might be true, but it's pretty clear. And I think it's always been clear, the higher ups, the management, the corporate funding, the corporate bigwigs at Bungie are no different than any other company.
I think you really saw that when like Pete Parsons tweeted, like, we kept the right people, like saying something very tone deaf and just like totally like, really, man, like these people literally just got let go and are hearing like, hey, but we kept the right people. Like, so what the fuck am I? Like,
exactly. It's like, oh, so the people that you left were just not the right people. And it's like, hey, choose better words, big guy. It's just a perfect storm of not only people losing trust in Bungie's ability to make a good game, but now people losing their trust in Bungie to be a good company. And, over the course of these past 9 years, there's been a lot of sentimental attachment to Bungie that is just not there anymore. A lot of pride in supporting a Bungie that was the lawful good company that was like the exception in the sea of shitty companies. And for a long time, that's kind of been slowly being whittled away at over the years, but especially these past 2 years, like it just took a huge nosedive in the perception of how people, in the pride of supporting Bungie. So it's tough. It's losing your trust, losing the player's trust in your game is one thing. I think a lot of people, a significant amount of the player base hasn't had trust in Bungie in a long time. There's sparks and hopes of the game being good, right? We just had Witch Queen. And, that keeps people around and it'll say like, hey, like, I think this can be good. But to lose the narrative that, hey, we're a good company, just trying to make a good game and trying to do good things, is, I think, far more devastating in the long run for them than making the game good or not. Because now people no longer have I want to support Bungie. Now it's just, well, Destiny sucks and I don't really care about Bungie. Oh, well, like, I'll just go play another game. I don't need this pre-order.
So Here's probably the $1 million question I have for you, Blue. I probably wouldn't even say it's a $1 million question. I would say it's a $1 billion question. Okay. What would you need to see as a player that, no longer plays Destiny actively and plays other video games? What would it take for you to be back into Destiny, and what you think would retain old players, bring in new players, and all those sorts of things?
I don't think anything at this point.
Yeah.
I've already been like, for me, Destiny.
Quitting an addiction cold turkey is tough to do. I should know because I'm trying to kick one right now. You can help your way through some addiction with something called Fume. Fume looks at the problem a little different way. Not everything in the bad habit is wrong, so instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Again, I've been talking about it. It's this natural flavored air system that it just tastes so good. The orange cream soda one is easily my favorite. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard. But switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has 1,000 of success stories, and there is no reason that it can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use code GG to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfume, FUM.com, and use the code GG to save an additional 10% off your order today.
Well, one, they got to make a good game. One, they have to make a good game and listen to people's feedback, because so often Bungie, like no other company, is like, oh, we know way better than what the player doesn't even know what they want. Like, we know better than what the player does in regards to like what they want to play, how they want to receive rewards. The general the general sentiment of the player base is cool, but like, we still know better. Like, no other company like Bungie does it, like, where they just like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And
I think. Oh, go
ahead. I mean, like I said, like, so much of, especially on the internet, so many people's ties to Bungie, so many people's like, I'll still play this game because it's good people making it, was that Bungie was a morally good company. And so, as far as from the company perspective, there is no coming back from this. I think there's no coming back from it. It's kind of like a mask off moment where you quickly realize, for a lot of people, it's a quick realization, like, dude, Bungie's just like every other company, and it has been for some time. As far as the game, I mean, if you make Final Shape bang, obviously people will come back for a little bit, and obviously the people who don't really like pay attention to any of this are gonna not care. If you make a really good expansion, I'm probably gonna still try Final Shape because I've played this game for coming up on a decade. So
you can't. I want to see now, right? That's how I feel.
I want to see how it ends, but I also, and this is a very, very popular sentiment, is like, once I'm done with Final Shape, I don't know if I'm gonna play any more Destiny.
Yeah,
because I don't know if, like, this is kind of me, closing it out, and like closing out this story, quote unquote story, that I've been following for 10 years in this game.
Yeah.
And like, after Final Shape, I don't know if I'm going to keep playing. It's just, it just doesn't feel like I have a lot of reason to play anymore. My heart's not in it because I've found other games that kind of treat me the way I want to be treated. Final Fantasy 14 has its problems, but it has an identity. It has a vision.
They know what they want it to be.
They know what they want it to be, and when the game is good, the game is amazing. And with Destiny, the game has really been still trying to find what it is for 9 years. And I'm just kind of, for as much as I love the vision of a space shooter, I fucking love sci-fi, man. I love loot and shoot. I love sci-fi. I love shooters.
What if I just threw this out, Blue. Do you think this would fix Destiny? Okay. I'm looking at the Destiny 2 store page right now. Okay.
Oh.
Get all the DLC. Okay, so like that's kind of I think the biggest problem with Destiny is they lose all the players that are playing, but as people walk out the door, there's nobody walking in the door.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
There's no one walking in because of the monetization structure.
They're just bleeding out. They're bleeding out their old players while their new players don't come in. It's just not like accessible. Like looking at this, Final Shape $49.99, Lightfall $49.99. Season of Witch Queen Silver Bundle, $15. Legacy Collection, $59.99. Bungie 30th Anniversary Pack, $24.99. The Witch Queen, $29.99. Beyond Light, $29.99. Shadowkeep, $24.99. Like, you're not Nintendo, bro. Like, why is the Forsaken Pack still $20? Like, why is that still worth $20? You're bleeding all these old players and no new players come into the game. So you're isolating your community and your game even more so. Like, I get it. Like Destiny is free to play, but it's never been free to play ever. Like,
and it's insane.
I don't even know what you could do for free in the game.
It's free to try. I heard so many creators too, where, I mean, I'm just gonna say it, like bootlicking for Bungie, that don't anymore. When they said like, yeah, Destiny's a free-to-play game. And it's like, no. Where? Because it costs like $300+ to get.
And that doesn't even include the dungeons that I think are $20.
Doesn't include the dungeon keys,
like,
correct.
That doesn't include dungeons.
So to get all the content in this game, it's like close to $300.
At least $300. Yeah, at least $300.
Right? If not more. And that doesn't even that doesn't even include the fact that Eververse is incredibly prevalent in the game. So much of the cool loot is tied completely behind Eververse. And so you have a $300 intro, like a barrier to entry, and there's still more to spend. So it's like Bungie knows this isn't sustainable from the higher ups perspective, but that doesn't really matter as long as they're making money, and it's just kind of caught up to them. It's just it's COVID protocols. You can't keep chasing these COVID numbers, man.
Here's what I'm gonna suggest. This would be my suggestion after Final Shape. Okay, Blue. What did Final Fantasy do when Final Fantasy 14 sucked and the story was really bad and everything?
Oh, dude, Yoshi P nutted up. Yoshi P made a whole new game with his crew.
That's fine. Okay, so they made a whole new, and they like basically retconned everything that happened before, right?
They have like pokes and nods to it, but they did essentially, from a gameplay perspective, retcon everything. They focused more on the core gameplay of like what makes an MMO good. And
this is what
I mean. They just kind of said, hey, like our old game sucked. We really need to revamp. We needed to look at every single aspect of the game from a micro level and say how does this make the player feel good.
Here would be my suggestion. I don't know how you do this. This is just kind of my idea. After Final Shape, okay, we drastically change the monetization behind Destiny. Okay, we keep the silver. All that stuff is never gonna go away. To say like take away the silver, like that's never gonna happen. It's super unrealistic and stupid. But I think we take away Destiny from free to play because, like you said, it's never been free to play, right? It's never been free to play. And let's bring it to like an actual MMO, like membership type of thing, like kind of what like you see with Final. Like, what do you pay a month, Blue, for your Final Fantasy 14?
I pay $15 a month, but I'll let you finish. But
so here's what I'm gonna say. After Final Shape, I think Bungie goes, "Hey, we're doing away with the free to play. We're doing away with like episodes and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to like stop with sunsetting and stuff. They're going to bring all that shit back that like they've sunsetted and stuff like that and be like $15 a month type of thing. You'll have access to, but like the game's going to be massive. You know what I mean? Like I hate I hate that this game is on console because it stops it from just being like, but then you see people downloading Call of Duty Warzone. That's 300 gigs. You know what I mean? So like, I just really think that they should somehow make it some sort of membership fee. bring back all the things that are sunset, bring back all those missions, bring back all those things that you can do and actually have a starting and end point type of thing. Like when you pay the $15 a month, you get access to all the kind of stuff and you can like play and you can, instead of like, okay, hold on, do I need to download the Lightfall pack? Oh, I don't have access to this mission. Is this a Witch Queen mission? Like it's just the way they have the game set up for new players is truly what I believe is going to kill the game more so than anything. Like, sure, Bungie shooting themselves in the foot and all that stuff is not great, but just the system that they have right now is just it's truly what is going to kill them is this new player experience.
So I don't think a subscription is the answer because, I mean, full stop, the game doesn't have enough content to have a subscription service.
Even if they brought back all the sunset missions, all the stuff that they like took away, and they brought all those things, that like we've done in the past, so like people wouldn't go back and do it. But for at least
that's
new
cool.
players,
for new players, that'll be cool, right? But for the subscription has to be based. The value of the subscription has to be based on what you are bringing people who have already done all that and are waiting for more content. And Bungie just doesn't make enough content for Destiny to validate a subscription service. I mean, for reference, right? Like I had 6.5 and 6.51 this month for Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I got more content this month than like the past 2 seasons of Destiny combined. Right? Like I have, we got the Fall Guys collab, we got a new dungeon, big Criterion dungeon.
Fall
we
Guys
got
collab. That is
big MSQ.
Can't believe those words came out of your mouth.
It bangs.
Crazy.
Okay, it bangs. And then we got big new ton of new story. We got a new EX trial, a new Alliance raid. We got a lot of shit in this month, and it doesn't happen every month, right? But we got a lot of things to do, and I have a lot of things to do, going into next month myself personally. And it's not a ton. Final Fantasy's content cycle isn't great right now, and a lot of people have noted, but it's not. It's enough to where like I'm still paying my $15 sub because there's still shit I want to do in the game, and for the casual player base, they're not even thinking about it. Because they're not me. I'm not like a hardcore like degen gremlin playing the game. My sentiment is, hey, the game could definitely be better. But for like the casual player base, the average player in Final Fantasy, they're not they're like, oh, like how do you not have stuff to do? And I'm just like, well, I'm a loser, man. Like I don't know what you want from me. But with like I just can't with Destiny 2 I just can't see a subscription working purely because there's just not enough content. Like if like these seasons every couple months that are like log in for 30 minutes a week and then log out, like that's not subscription content tier stuff. Like even like other MMOs that have kind of lost the public narrative, like WoW, right? With Dragonflight, a lot of people, it's still pretty mixed on Dragonflight, but a lot of people can still say like, hey, like I can still pay, I'm still paying my subscription because I still enjoy WoW because it still gives me enough to feel like I can pay that subscription service and not feel cheated. And at the end of the day with MMOs, you can stop subscribing if you don't feel like you want to play anymore. With Bungie, like the entire focus of their monetization structure is based around the fact that they know they don't have enough content to have a subscription service. And so that's why you have all of these old expansions being so expensive because they want the new player entry to be expensive so they make more money, but then they can't grow their player base. The player base isn't getting bigger. It hasn't been for years.
No.
And so
like that's it all starts with like there's just how to get into the game is just the big reason of that.
What I think needs to be a baseline is you need to have all of the old expansions be included with your new expansion in the same way that Final Fantasy does it, in the same way that a lot of other MMOs
What do you mean by that? So you're basically saying that like everything that's been sunset and everything, like you get access to that if you buy the newest like expansion.
Yep. You get everything before that if you buy the new expansion. Like it's absurd to me Because Final Fantasy, like, okay, like for the new expansion, like, okay, I'm paying a AAA game price, but I'm also getting ARR, I'm getting Shadowbringers. Well, I mean, Final Fantasy is actually a free to play game. You can play 3 whole expansions for free. So technically, you're only paying for when you buy the new expansion. You're getting, when Dawn Trail comes out, you're getting 2 expansions in the pack for it. And so suddenly you have a barrier to entry of like $80 versus Bungie's $300. So it's insane to me that Bungie has still not adopted even just a pack where it's like, even just like a legacy pack that is just, hey, buy all the content that came before this expansion for this price in one pack.
They have like that missions thing, right? Where it's basically takes you through all like the important missions. Like that, is that in the game now or is that coming to the game?
I have no idea.
Somebody talking about that.
It's something, I think it's coming. Actually, no, I think it is in the game. But it's like I don't care. This should have been 4 years ago.
They shouldn't have to they should have access to all the expansion. I just think it's crazy to me that like there's raids in the game that you can't go back and play. Like I just think that is so insane. Like just doesn't make like any
that's
sense
also
to me.
why
And,
that's also why they can't reasonably do a subscription service because there's not even enough old content to. Because all of that old content that you were talking about isn't even in the game. So, man.
I just think the reason I say subscription is like it would make Destiny and Bungie lean 100% into the MMO part of Destiny. And, you know, like, and part of that, like if they did go subscription fee, it would bring back everything, you know, it would bring back all those old raids and stuff like that. And like, sure, the size of the game would be big. And I think that was the whole reason of sunsetting is because like, oh, we don't want like the game to like get too big or something like that on people's like hard drives. But at the end of the day, if people want to play the game, like they're going to keep it downloaded. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Especially if it's like an MMO. I just think sunsetting is one of the worst things that ever like happened to this game ever. Just taking out content that people have paid for is just insane.
giga Corbo speak, giga dev speak, where it's like, oh, well, this is why it's going to be good. It's like, bro, didn't we pay for this and you're just taking it away? No other company like Bungie has reminded me that we live in a digital age where we don't own any of the content we buy. Like Bungie.
It's like my Ring doorbell, bro. I buy a Ring doorbell and then I have to pay a subscription fee to use my Ring doorbell. Like what? I hate that. It's just a really sad situation going on over in Destiny. If you guys feel the same way, make sure you guys comment down below. I'll be going through all of those. I just like to know, is this the lowest you guys have ever been on Destiny as well? Like, because
I've been this low for a while, but yeah. I think
same with me, you, and Fruit. I think me, you, and Fruit were on this boat way before anybody else was.
But I think it's a bigger problem than what Bungie's willing to admit. I think it's not just people. I mean, I think people have lost trust in Destiny a long time ago, but they stuck around because it's Bungie. But now you've lost the trust in Bungie, and that's a far deeper cut than just losing trust in your game. Bungie did issue a statement.
Oh yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to call it, my bad.
Yeah, we can. I'm just gonna.
Why do they? Okay, wait, real quick. I've been missing things for a while. Why is it called the TWID now, not TWAD?
This Week in Destiny, because they've got other games coming out and they don't want it to be just This Week at Bungie.
I see. Okay.
So, we'll keep it short. This has been one of the most difficult weeks in our studio's history, as we've parted ways with people we respect and admire. We spent this week supporting one another, including those who are at the studio, as well as friends and colleagues who no longer are. And it goes on, I mean, obviously it's bullshit, but then it goes on to talk about Lightfall.
Bunch of chat GPI stuff.
Yeah, chat GPT, TWID. We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall and recent seasons, as well as your responses to the reveal of the final shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs to surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. which is
Just
pretty
words,
surprising that they haven't even talked about the delay. But going on, this next part
Go on,
hurts.
Queen.
This next part hurts. We are intensely focused on exceeding your expectations for the final shape. Destiny 2 has more than 650 dedicated teammates pouring all their energy and expertise into delivering this epic moment and its subsequent episode. In the weeks ahead, you'll be hearing more from us about what's next on the short-term horizon, beginning with our next season in late November. Afterwards, we'll begin to unpack our team's bigger, bolder, and brighter vision for the final shape, as well as the bridge we plan to build to take us all out of this darkness and into the light.
I did think it was funny in their in that thing. They did mention like we'll talk about PvP. We'll talk about the future PvP. All right, we'll finally do it. So you get off our ass about it. Just really funny.
That statement was pretty much, yeah, we fired the right people, I guess. We're gonna crunch our team really hard to make Final Shape great.
Yeah, pretty much is what I heard from that as well.
And this is also the first time that they've straight up come out and said, hey, we know you guys didn't like Lightfall. Like, this is a huge backpedal from when they were like, oh, you're gonna have to wait and see. Like, oh, there's more story to Lightfall coming, y'all.
Yeah, that is true. This is kind of the first time that they've admitted
the time for them to be freaking out about how bad Lightfall was, the time for them to make a statement about like, oh, we know you guys didn't like Lightfall. The time to make a statement about that was like fucking May. Not November. So it's just, I think the management is just all over the place. I don't have a lot of hope for where this game goes. I think for me and a lot of people are just like, oh, we'll see what Marathon happens. Like, we'll see what goes on with that.
Well, it's funny, Blue, you bring up Marathon, because at Bungie, when it rains, it pours. It turns out some people actually got to try Marathon. I don't know if you've heard about this.
I did. I saw the Aztecross.
Yeah, they had
which got taken down.
Aztecross. Yeah. Oh, it did?
Yeah, it got taken down.
That video did?
Oh yeah, they nuked that from orbit.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. So hey, where there's smoke, there must be a fire. So Aztecross put out a video basically explaining so Destiny Tracker here says Aztecross is reporting that Bungie had escaped from Tarkov streamers play Marathon and they did not seem interested in the game. Bungie asked if any of them would play Marathon if it were released tomorrow, and nobody raised their hand. I haven't gone too deep into the video, but apparently people aren't enjoying Marathon either. So especially with it being a looter or extraction shooter, and Escape from Tarkov players aren't very interested in it. Yeah, it just seems pretty bad times at Bungie right now. Yeah, the video is private. That is crazy. But yeah, so now apparently Marathon is not getting great reviews. And apparently all that was under NDA, so somebody broke an NDA.
I respect that person. Thank you for your sacrifice. You are my goat.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate with all this stuff going on, but yeah.
I think it's good that they're getting feedback. Cool. Awesome. I think that's dope. Now, what's not dope is everything else going on. It's also telling that the Aztecross video that kind of like had a lot of like for anyone that hasn't watched it, it was just a lot of added a lot of context that we've already talked about to the layoffs. Talked a lot about how the final shape got delayed. Talked those little details about how Tarkov players got invited to go play Marathon, and just a lot of devs talking about how management just was not there and how they got screwed over. So, dark times.
Yeah.
Dark times.
Yeah, so in the comments below, let us know if you're going to be playing Destiny anytime longer, if you're fucking sick of it. Just kind of your thoughts on the whole situation, what's going And somebody, that kind of is bringing back their game. We'll see how long it lasts. OG Fortnite just came out today. And I have seen some stats that Fortnite has reached its highest player count ever.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Over 3.5 million players are currently playing Chapter 1 right now.
Epic still laid off a bunch of their employees for this record revenue.
And I think that number is going to get higher because kids are at school right now. So I expect that number to jump up even higher here this weekend. I haven't played it yet. I hope to God that there is a no build OG Fortnite mode. Because I will be there no matter what. I think it's going to be fun. I mean, back in the day, OG Fortnite was a great time. There was like a 3-month period where nobody knew how to build and edit and all that type of shit. Just really excited to get back in there and do no build. I'm doing no build. I don't want anybody diving and flipping on me like that.
It's the new map. The OG map, and they have no build as a permanent mode, so you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it as God intended.
Good. I will have to get at least one skin because my Epic account kept getting hacked to the point where it was like, all right, I'm just gonna delete my account. But yeah, are you gonna? I know you were at one point, Blue. You were playing Fortnite unironically, almost every other day. It felt like for a while there, when no build came out.
Dude, Fortnite's a fun as fuck game. They know what they're doing, as much as they, for how much money Epic makes. Should not be laying off people, but that's the gaming industry right now. I think it's dope. I think a lot of people sleep so hard on Fortnite as cultural importance, how many players it has, which is crazy to me. And it's crazy that was it 6 years after or 5 years after this game really blew up BR wise is hitting its player peaks. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show how much people still sleep on Fortnite from the internet perspective, and how much people don't realize like this game is just still. This game still has an absurd amount of relevance, if not the most relevance, and will continue to do so. So, I mean, I want to play it. I don't have like a whole lot of ties to the OG Fortnite, like the whole nostalgia of it. What's crazy to me is, here's where we're going to sound really old, Rob.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me is 5 years ago, people were kids. 18-year-olds right now, they're 13 when Fortnite had just launched that BR. Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of nostalgia bait for them. There's a lot of nostalgia bait for people like, boomers like us who were,
well, and like those
mid-20s
when Fortnite came out are now 13.
Exactly. So it's some great nostalgia bait. It works with how clean and polished the game is now. I mean, I know people are gonna have a lot of fun. It's just great marketing, and like, dude, who doesn't want to play an OG Fortnite map without all the crazy gimmicks? Which I enjoy the cool crazy gimmicks, but like having like a back to basics season is always good. It brings back people who like the game for what it is at its core. I'm probably going to give it a try just because it's cool.
Oh, for sure.
I'm probably going to play it. I do miss Dusty fucking Depot, baby.
It's
the Dusty Depot
on this map.
It's still Dusty Depot to me, baby. I saw Joey on Twitter was like, no Moisty Meyer, and I was like, yeah, dude. Well, you and 5 other people have their heart broken.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm excited. I'm gonna give it a try. Fortnite is back. I mean, Fortnite never left.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Fortnite a lot, and then I think like a lot of other people, when they just got outskilled and were just people basically.
The no build brought me back in force, dude. Like, I was like,
yeah. And
that's where my boomer.
That's like a normal mode.
My boomer mode was like, I cannot learn another fucking core skill. I already had to learn mouse and keyboard. I'm so old. Oh god, I can't learn how to crank fucking 90s. These 12-year-olds are gonna always be better at cranking 90s than me. But now I can go back to OG Fortnite and be reminded that hey, I'm still kind of nice with the gun.
Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looked fun at first. They probably threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off, and months later, insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If this sounds like your current big wireless plan, then it's time for you to get off that ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. Mint Mobile showed me that I could be saving $70. $70 from I really need to start looking into it. Like at this point, like seriously, like $70, like that will help a ton. Ditch the big wireless with just Mint Mobile's limited time deal and get premium wireless services for just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/GG. That's mintmobile.com/GG. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/GG.
Yeah, I think I'll be playing a little bit of it today before I play the finals with Sir D and Dado.
How do you like the finals? Because all I know about the finals is that it uses the AI to. It was all over Twitter where they have AI voice lines for a lot of their
and they got
crazy.
Suck ass. I bet.
Have you noticed it at all? I'm curious.
I have not played. This will be actually
live in the end times voice.
Did we play the finals for a Mr. Fruit video?
I was going to.
I think I did.
I think you did. I wasn't able to because I just didn't find the time for it.
I think we did with Joey, and if I remember correctly, I think it was kind of fun. I think I had fun shooting, and the gameplay, the gunplay was kind of fun.
I do like the art style.
If it is what I remember. But maybe like Christian had us playing so many different games that like they all kind of just blend in together at one point. But yeah, I mean I haven't played it, but we're gonna be playing that later today. Dado was really excited to try it. So I mean Dado is one of those Destiny creators that is trying more variety. So he knows that I'm down to basically play anything and everything that isn't Destiny.
That's my goats right there.
Is there anything else we want? Something we should touch on. Yes. Spider-Man 2. I just completed it. Yes, I played a single player game on stream and actually finished it.
He finished it, y'all.
I actually, I'm one of those people on my stream, especially where I will start a single player game and never finish it. God of War 2. Let me think. What's the before Horizon or whatever? Horizon Until Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that never finished that. Dead Space, never finished Dead Space. What's the space game back in like 2010? They made a remaster for it. But it has the word space in it too, and it used to be like, oh my god, this is the best like RPG game ever. That game.
I don't know.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. Yes.
Yeah, Mass Effect.
Dead
never
Space.
Finished that. Yeah. Well, I mean, Dead Space is a game.
Something space.
But I will say, I'll go on a limb here. I think this is the greatest superhero game ever made.
Damn,
I don't think that is
Rob.
actually going out on a limb. Yeah, I mean, I think it's better than any of the Arkham games I've ever played. It's definitely better than Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 that I really enjoyed playing.
That's crazy.
It genuinely, like, I loved Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Like, I think those were my favorite games before then. I hadn't played the other Spider-Mans that was on like the PS4 and stuff. But like, dude, the game is just like gorgeous. Like, it runs so smoothly on the PS5. It just looks great. It's just fun to play. You know, when you get into that mode where you like know how to like just basically combo and just know how to fight, it is seriously some of the best combat I think I've ever played in any sort of game ever. I will say though, the sneaky missions where they have you do sneak type shit is cringe and sucks. You know, that I think that part is really bad, and it's like the AI, like I'm AI talking with you right here. Oh, was that a stone thrown over here? And then I turn back and like the person I was talking to is like gone.
Yeah.
And it is only on like a web that like is 2 feet above me. And they're like, oh, well, I guess Erica is gone. Let me just look at this thing now. And then so like you do that for like 10, 15 minutes. And then like you do all that just for like that first wave to not even be like the whole wave. And then it's like, oh, wait, all these reinforcements are here now. So it's like, why the fuck did you have me do that? Like stealth sequence if it didn't even fucking matter at the end. I could have just went in there balls deep and killed everybody faster than it would have taken me to do all this like sneak stuff. But other than that, dude, it's the greatest PS5 game I think I've ever played.
Dude.
Again, haven't played God of War 2. I played a little bit of it. But it's just a blast, dude. The city feels alive. It's huge. The movement is just awesome. You can take like swing like web assist off too. So if you really want to try and like
be Spider-Man.
Yeah, be Spider-Man and like really like because like if you put it at 100%, I mean you'll be in the fucking middle of the ocean swinging over shit. Like so it's just a blast. If you have a PS5 and like you need a game for Christmas to get this game. It's like one of those games, it's like if you have a PS like almost kind of like you have an Xbox 360, you have Halo 3. It's kind of like you have a PS5, you have Spider-Man 2. They fucking killed it. It's probably I would probably say my game of the year. I didn't play enough of Zelda. There's another single player game I started and didn't finish. I enjoyed it way more than I enjoyed my time in Zelda. But then again, I'm not one of those weird people that are building weird dinosaur contraptions that are solar powered in Tears of the Kingdom. That just doesn't get my gamer juice going. But fucking fighting Venom sure does get my gamer juices going. So I think like at this very moment right now, I know it probably won't win Game of the Year because of how Baldur's Gate was. But yeah, play Spider-Man right fucking now if you have a PS5.
I think that's dope because when you were talking about it earlier, you're like, yeah, a lot of people seem really excited for it, and I was like, yeah, man, like I think a lot of people have gotten that same feeling from the game that like they did from the PS2 Spider-Mans, and you were like, yep, hoping to play it, and now here we are. Yeah. This dude saying is the best superhero game he's ever played.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to think of like if I'm too off the gun on that, like superhero.
I think there's not a lot of amazing superhero games outside of Batman.
Like Arkham Knight is really good. Arkham Asylum is really good. I don't
think you got to prove it to anyone. I think if you think this was awesome, hell yeah.
I'm just like trying to think. Like it shows like Infamous, but that's not a superhero. Like, because like I would say like actually like notoriously most superhero movies are actually ass because it's like a studio movie just trying to like I don't know make a quick buck off the game and make a quick buck off the IP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely easily say, looking at this list, that Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 is, without a doubt, the best superhero game they've ever made. Because like the story is actually pretty decent too. I actually found myself actually enjoying the game, and like they also give you a ton of access to different costumes too. Like you don't have to pay for these costumes; you literally like unlock them by guess what? Playing the game. What a fucking concept! It's just a blast. In other news, if this is coming out on Sunday, be on the lookout on either Monday or maybe it came on Saturday. Blue, your plushies have officially shipped.
Dude, wait. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they have officially shipped today being Friday the 3rd. As we're like recording this podcast.
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, so they have been shipped. Yesterday I did do the random number generator to figure out who was getting the sparkling versions of their plushies. I literally had to record myself doing it to prove that, you know, there wasn't any funny business going on. I literally put like in a number generator, like the first order we got, which was like 525. And then I put like the last order, which was like 790 or something like that. And then for people that had 2 orders of a plushie, what I did is I basically went through every single order. And if they had 2, I gave them an extra ticket for the sparkling version. So think of it like, order 779 had 2 orders. Well, I'll make them 791 because they had 2 things. So I made the random number generator also include like 13 or 14 extra numbers for the people that, order 2 or 3.
That's my go, baby.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure if you order 2, you were fairly given like an extra ticket or that sort of thing. So I think a lot of people will be very excited to get their sparkling versions here soon. I know a lot of people have been waiting on this. But now that it's all shipped and everything, we are on to our next creator, which you'll probably hear from very soon. I actually have her plushies upstairs right now. They were actually mistakenly sent. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I like if she would let me show them, I would. I mean, I'm sure she wouldn't care. Because they're really cool, and I think I think it's a plushie that her community has been really, really waiting for. Just like you, Blue, it's kind of like an animal, so it was something that just made sense to try and do.
I'm excited, dude. Let's see next content collection.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
It'll probably be teased here pretty soon. They mistakenly sent me her plushies when they were supposed to send them to her. So after this, I gotta go ship them on over to her. But you should have your shipment here in a little bit. We also have, I know, Blue, we gave you some extras to give away as well, to like friends and family or your community. I think we have 2 or 3 extras on the content side to do for a giveaway that was on Twitter, and so for some other future giveaways. But yeah, Blue, appreciate you letting us do a cool squish pillow or squish kind of thing for you. And I know you'll be really, really happy with the results.
Dude, Rob is a marketing warlord. I would just like everyone to know that.
Is there anything else we wanted to touch on before we flew on over to the Q&A section?
I don't think so. Oh, I am going to Crystal Bridges here over for this weekend. Which is a museum. Bridges? It's a really sick ass museum in Arkansas. What's it called? It's right next to Eureka Springs. I'm excited. I'll tell you guys how it goes.
You want to know the
probably not gonna be anything crazy.
You want to know the only thing I know about Arkansas?
Little Rock, Crack Rock.
The capital is Little Rock. That's the only thing I know about Arkansas.
Thank you, Frank Ocean, for educating Rob on geography.
Or that people in Europe get really pissed about Arkansas because they pronounce it Arkansas, and that we don't pronounce it Arkansas because it's literally spelled like AR and then Kansas, but we for some reason say Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Question here from Whittle. It says, been going through my final exam and it's been rough. My question is, what were your guys' way of studying for exams, and how did it go? All right. Well, I'll be honest.
I didn't.
I mean, yeah, I'll be honest. When final exam season came, this is going to sound crazy. I like to try and put on, because like in college, you can put your final exams on certain days and stuff like that. At least in our college, you could, where like, say you had 3 final exams on the same day, you could like flex one of your, you could flex 2 of those. So you only had 1 on, or like a max of 2 on any given day. If you had like 3 on a given day, you could flex 1 of those. I really liked having as many as I could on a single day. So what I would do, again, drug use is not something that I, really
Jesus Christ, here we go.
You
can't go one podcast without Rob being drugged up.
But in college, I would rail an Adderall and just all night. I would just stay up all night, wired.
Oh my God,
just wired.
Please, never, please. I would like to
and then I'd have my first exam at 8. Finish my exam around 9, and then my next one would be at 11 or something like that. And then I'd go back to the library, study for that next 2 hours for the next one.
Dear God.
After like studying the previous like 7 hours for all of them. So like I would dedicate like an hour and a half each to like each kind of class I was in. Because when you're on Adderall, bro, it's like, yeah. So like you're all about like study, or it's just like it's crazy. I don't know.
I
how
would like to
explain
add a disclaimer. All the advice from the GG Over Easy podcast
Yeah,
is
like-
not medically backed. We have
Yeah, this is not medically
everything that
backed.
we are saying is opinions from ourselves and just
I was
stories
a
from
dumb
ourselves
college
when we
kid.
were silly little college kids. Please
Yeah,
do
so
not come for us, and please do not take any of this advice
Yeah.
as
I'm not telling you to
valid
do it.
forms of.
I'm just telling you what I did. You know what I mean? Like I'm not condoning this, but hey, motherfucker, I got out of academic probation with doing that shit. So, big shout out.
Shout out
my
Addy.
roommate Wes. Yeah, shout out to my roommate Wes.
I really never studied. I always test. I've always tested pretty good. It's just when it came to like homework and general day to day stuff, I just didn't really like doing
Checked
it.
out.
So, but voice test pretty okay. So I never really studied. My brain is poggers sometimes, but not poggers others. So that's my. We gave you the most useless advice. I'm sure Fruit, if he were here, would have given you like a really wholesome, great, like, hey man, here's what I did. No, you're listening to the two people who probably have the most abnormal school experience when it came to academics.
Yeah.
So,
But that's what I did.
that's what we did.
Jimmy says, "Hey guys, just wondering. Next Fruit Summit, what are the chances of A, it happening, and B, there being a Smash tournament again? Would be sick. If new characters since the last tournament, even another fighting game would be sick. I would say the next chances of Fruit Summit happening, I'd probably say like 65-35. 65 probably happening.
It just didn't
35
happen this
probably
year
not.
because Fruit had everything going. He had his.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to like entertain the idea of having a bunch of your friends over inhabiting your house when you're recovering from jaw surgery right around the time that we usually did Fruit Summit. So I don't blame the dude. He's also, I don't think Fruit Summit would have been amazing because he's been going through, this year especially has just been super tough on him mentally. And while it would have definitely helped just because like having his friends around would have been nice, I think it would have been pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
So this year, the reason it didn't happen isn't because we didn't want to do it. It's just that with circumstances, it was really hard to do it.
I think it was best that it didn't happen.
It was it would have been really hard to do it for everyone to have fun. So I think pretty good chance of it happening next year.
Because I think what a lot of people don't understand about like Fruit Summit and stuff is like we're excited to kind of just be around each other and like not have to like do anything, but then like when content does have to come up, it's like, oh shit, like we are actually here to work too. So it's kind of hard to balance out like, oh, we're friends, let's just hang out and be on vacation, and also be like, well, we need to fucking work here because people are expecting good content and stuff. And for the Smash tournament, I don't know, man. Like Christian would say probably not, because unless he found someone to edit it for him, because one, what you guys didn't see was this like 4.5 hours of setup it took for to set up like the game capture. So we would see the game downstairs, and then like the 3 cameras that picked up the players and their reactions, and then the 2 cameras that picked up us. And then when you go into the editing floor, you have to go, okay, this camera was this camera was that camera. Okay, this has all those shots. Okay, let me find the fight of Mr. Fruit versus BlueWestlo. And then, you know, by the time that's all said and done and edited and done, it got less views than what a video that would take him 20 minutes to record in Destiny took. You know, so it's like the cost and time, you know, it's all those kind of things like weigh into it. If we could find a way to set it up that it was way easier and less work for Mr. Fruit, I'm sure we would probably do it. But I would say that one is probably 25%. Yeah, we're doing it. 75% probably.
I would not rely on it. 1, all the stuff Rob said. 2, nobody wants to play me in Smash, man. Sag.
Yeah, I mean, and then like that's the other thing. It's like, okay, so we're doing all this just to know that like Blue's probably gonna win.
I would handicap myself super hard if we ever did it again by like going random or some shit. But yeah, a lot of people don't want to just get these. A lot of people don't want to run these fucking hands with me. I mean, what can I say? Like I'm nuts.
Aloud says everybody's pets are put into a battle royale solos lobby. Who's winning? Include Olive and Appa.
Who's winning? I feel like
I'll
off
be
of
honest.
size
I'll be
alone,
on.
probably Olive and Appa.
No, I'll be real. Probably Olive, and then the final circle is probably Olive and Willow, because Willow is a fucking freak and has the talons of a. She doesn't let us clip her claws, so her talons. She has literally like hooks, bro. Like it's crazy. Like sometimes she'll be like sitting on my lap and very comfortable, and she'll do that cat thing where like they like reach out and then like pull themselves to like really stretch. She'll do that like in my skin, because she just doesn't get it. And it's some of the worst pain, but I would probably say Olive. Olive has that dog in her. One time Sydney and I were walking Olive and another dog came and she literally like jumped at the dog and did like a 180s. It was crazy. I was like, oh, this dog hates other dogs.
It's on site, baby. Yeah, no, Boomy's way too chill. Boomy would find a way to get out of the fights.
Yeah.
Boomy would find a way to get out of the fights.
Albus and Boomy would be kicking it over there. Like,
yeah, they would find a way to get out of the fight. Boomy would find like a nice corner to cuddle in, and he'd be like, I'm going to sleep, baby. Like, it's nappy time.
Fuck, marry, kill, for Marco Rosé here. Fortnite, PUBG, Apex.
Fuck Apex, marry Fortnite, kill PUBG, easy.
I'm with you on that.
That's easy.
I think Fortnite could really give me the life that I've always dreamed of. Halcyonics says you're given the chance to have one animal as a companion. This companion is almost an extension of yourself, highly intelligent, capable of speech. Which animal would you guys have as your glorious pal? I mean, can I have it just be Willow or Albus? Like, I hate to say house cat because that's a pretty cop-out answer. But if I couldn't say like the pets I have now.
This sounded like a familiar, like that, like so. Think like a avatar you send out type beat.
Yeah.
Who would mind? I would definitely still pick a penguin. Like that's dope. Have a familiar penguin. That sounds sick as hell. That just goes and gets that I like. Oh, at whim, I send out of me to do my bidding. That's dope as fuck. I'm a penguin.
I'd probably do like a panther or something like that, like just a bigger version of a cat, like maybe like I'd just like a Black Panther or something like that. I think that'd be sweet. Minty Fresh is any new music you guys have been listening to recently? I have been playing Westside Gunn's "Pray for Me" album on repeat. Boop, 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 boop.
Boop, 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 boop.
And I know Benny the Butcher just dropped an album today, so I will be listening to that as well.
I've listened a lot to that new Sampha album, Lahai. Wicked ass album.
Nice. And Minty Fresh says also I missed. But are you guys gonna play Baldur's Gate? No, I've never played Baldur's Gate. Maybe one of these days I'll jump into it.
Wait, what was the question? Holy shit.
Did you ever play Baldur's Gate?
No. I've watched so many of my friends play it that I feel like I'm vicariously living through them, but I don't think I just like turn-based D&D style in a game doesn't really like speak to me on a level. I think maybe one day I do want to try it, but there's just just not right now. It seems really cool. It seems so ambitious, and I have nothing but respect for the game itself. But I don't know, man. Hearing my friends talk about it when like I have just so many like bro, like dude, like the boyfriend right now is literally like 100 hours into this game and he's not done. Like, I'm not ready for that investment, dude. This dude's like doing all the side quests. This dude's like, oh yeah, I've been in Act 3 for like 40 hours. It's like, you know what, man? Good luck. Enjoy that shit. I don't think I can do that.
Crystal says, happy November. What is the one thing on your list you're hoping to accomplish this month? Working out more than half of the days this month.
Accomplish. I think for me, it's not really accomplish. I think for me, it's my consistency. I've been consistently going to the gym. I've been consistently eating better. I think what I do want to accomplish this month is I do want to stream more than like a week this month. Because there's a lot of games I want to stream that I just haven't played. So I think I think this month I want to try and have a semi-consistent stream. We'll see how that goes. Tentative, not promise.
Lumberlord. I hear Lep and Rob were going to maybe play Fortnite soon. Is Rob excited to get back into Fortnite? Yeah. Especially the OG, and that there's no build. I'm very excited.
It's crazy to me. I keep forgetting that right around when D2 launched, Lep went full time as a Fortnite streamer. Lep didn't even start full time as a D2 as like a D2 content creator. He started as a Fortnite streamer. That dude's crazy.
Slippy Fist says, which Pokemon would you want to be fused with together, like the movie The Fly? P.S. Excited about the blue plushie shipping today.
Hey, thanks, man. That's also morbid. Holy.
Yeah.
Fuse me with Arceus. I want Omnipotence. I'm just gonna be full straight up. Yeah, I want to be a fuse with Arceus. Omnipotent.
Yeah,
freak.
Fuse me with like Mewtwo or something. You know.
Ooh, that would be sick. You'd be so fucking smart.
Mew 3. Pete with the last question says, hello guys, really excited for the plushie. How are you doing learning Spanish? As a comment, there are different slangs used by Colombians that go over my head as a Chicano, if I'm saying that correctly. We have Colombians at work and they'll use words I don't use in context. I don't get the context of. Good luck and love you guys. I actually downloaded Duolingo yesterday.
What? Let's go.
Yeah, I need to find time to just sit down and like really learn it. I talked to my dad about it. So after that whole podcast, I called him and I was like, hey dad, like next time you want to go to Colombia, I want to go. And he goes, why would you want to go? And I was like, see, like this is the shit I'm talking about.
Just like my dad. He's like, why would you want to go to that shithole?
Yeah, well, I was like, well, I just want to like, go down there and like, let's just kind of learn about the culture and stuff like that. And, just like learn about Colombia and like learn like just those sorts of things that like how you grew up and those sorts of things. Like, oh, Robert, by the time you leave that shithole, you'll be happy that like you're from here.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, like Jesus fucking Christ. Like, so I am going to start trying to learn. I want to try and like get confident enough to try and talk to my dad in Spanish because like maybe he would be down to try that. But yeah, at the moment, still literally at ground floor. Do you speak fluent Spanish, Blue?
Oh, hell no, dude. I definitely have enough to survive, but I haven't been able to speak fluent Spanish since I was
Can you read? Can you read it?
Yeah, I can definitely read it.
Okay. Yeah, it was really
speaking it is hard though.
When I was talking to my dad about it, like being bilingual and stuff, he said like when he goes to Colombia and like he's there for a while and he's like around like Spanish speakers and stuff like that, his internal thoughts are Spanish. And then like he thinks in Spanish. He like does all like his math in like Spanish and all that kind of stuff in his head. And then when he comes back to America, it's hard for him to like not think in Spanish again and then has to like revert his brain into like thinking in English again. It's just really kind of interesting how that works. I was talking to him about that. But yeah, that'll do it for the GG Over Easy podcast today. Thank you guys for listening to this well, some would say maybe might be a depressing episode, talking about all the things that are sad. But things are on the up. Things are great over on the GG Over Easy side. Thank you guys all for listening and hanging out today. Once again, there will be changes coming to the GG Over Easy Patreon. Just check on over on there for those changes here. Probably coming sometime in the middle of next week. Appreciate you guys all listening and hanging out. Love you. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Intro.